Georgie Cooper has always been one of the most emotionally grounded and protective members of the Cooper family, even back in young Sheldon. And now, in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, that protective instinct is flaring up again, this time because of his mother, Mary, and her new relationship. A lot of fans have noticed how tense Georgie's been lately whenever Mary's love life comes up, and it's not just simple jealousy or discomfort. There's a much deeper emotional story behind his reaction, one tied to grief, loyalty, and the complicated way children, even grown ones, process seeing their parents move on after loss. To really understand why Georgie is so mad, we have to go back to where all of this started. The death of George Sr. That loss changed everything for the Coopers. It fractured the family in ways that none of them were ready for. Mary lost her husband, the kids lost their father, and each of them coped differently. Sheldon buried himself in science and logic, Missy acted out, and Georgie, being the oldest, tried to step up and fill the role his dad left behind. For him, George Sr. wasn't just his father, he was a model of responsibility and manhood. Georgie might have clashed with him growing up, but as he got older, he began to see how much his dad sacrificed for the family. Losing him hit Georgie hard, even if he didn't always show it on the surface. So now, when Mary starts to find comfort in someone new, Georgie sees it as something that dishonors his father's memory. He's not trying to be controlling or cruel, it's more about loyalty. In his mind, his father's memory deserves to be preserved, and Mary moving on too quickly feels like a betrayal of that. It's not about who Mary is seeing specifically, it's about the timing and the emotions that Georgie hasn't fully processed. He's still mourning his dad, and seeing Mary with someone else makes it feel like that loss is being erased or replaced. There's also a lot of unspoken guilt and fear at play here. Georgie grew up in a home where he saw his parents struggle, financially, emotionally, and in their marriage. He watched them argue, drift apart, and yet, despite all that, they loved each other. So when his dad died, Georgie probably felt like there were still unresolved things between them as a family. Now, seeing Mary start fresh with someone new brings up that feeling of unfinished business all over again. It's as if Georgie's being forced to accept that life moves on even when he's not ready to. But this situation isn't just about grief, it's also about control. Georgie's become a husband and a father himself, and that changes the way he sees his mother. In a way, he feels like it's his job now to protect her, to make sure no one takes advantage of her or causes her pain. We've seen how protective he is of the people he loves, especially Mandy and their child. So when it comes to Mary, those instincts kick in again. The problem is, Mary doesn't need that kind of protection anymore. She's trying to live her own life. That's what creates the emotional clash between them. Georgie's heart is in the right place, but his inability to separate his role as her son from his desire to look out for her causes tension. There's also an interesting layer of generational difference in how they both see love and loss. Mary, after years of putting her family and faith before herself, is finally trying to find happiness again. She's lonely, she's aging, and she wants companionship. From her perspective, moving on doesn't mean forgetting George Sr., it means learning to live with the loss while still allowing herself to feel joy.
But Georgie doesn't see it that way.
To him, it's black and white. You either honor your dad's memory or you move on, and in his eyes, you can't do both. That's the emotional wall he hasn't been able to break through yet. The show does a really good job of showing how grief doesn't have an expiration date. For Georgie, losing his dad wasn't something he ever fully recovered from. He built his adult life around trying to be what his father was, a provider, a man of responsibility, and now, watching his mother find love again feels like his father's role is being rewritten. It's not rational, but it's deeply human. As Georgie and Mandy's first marriage continues, we'll likely see Georgie come to terms with this. He'll start to realize that Mary's happiness doesn't erase his dad's legacy, it actually honors it. George Sr. would have wanted her to be loved and cared for. The journey for Georgie will be learning how to accept that and letting go of his need to control how others handle grief. It's not an easy thing to do, especially for someone like him who's always tried to hold the family together. At its core, Georgie's anger isn't about Mary's new relationship. It's about his struggle to let go of the past. It's about realizing that life doesn't stop moving forward, even after heartbreak. And that's what makes this storyline so